Now, apart from the idiotic claim that I didn't write my plays, there's a new trend blabbering about that my mistress is no more than poetic imagination. They want you to believe that the lady that lurks deep in the heart of my sonnets is merely a figment of fancy. Okay, let me declare, the dark lady of my cheating soul is no poetic puffery. She's a stunning, sensual, real woman. Who is she, and why have I never revealed her? Fair enough, I will tell you. Second verse before the first. In the first mention of the verses in the press, you will find that the reviewer refers to them as his sugared sonnets amongst his private friends. I didn't reveal her because you were never supposed to read the damn things. The sonnets written for my private friends are my diary. And they would have stayed private had not a bounder of a printer, William Jaggard, gone and published a book of poems, Passionate Pilgrim, proclaiming that the drivel of verses contained therein were written by me. They were not. Well, 3 of them were. But Jaggard claimed and was adamant that they were all mine. I've been dealing with people stealing my shit ever since I left the wife and kids in Stratford and crossed that head-swinging London Bridge. Anywho, my reputation on the line with those private friends asking, really? Will, really? These are yours? And me screaming, are you fucking kidding me? I was forced to put up or shut up and prove that I know how to write those frigging 14-line wonders of amorous angst by publishing the real ones. So, here's something I bet you didn't know. I hate sonnets. I wrote the sequence of 154 to show the perfume and puff, hoi ollagoi, just how pathetic these love songs really are. Come on, some lame-ass boy of a man whines on for 14 lines how an equally lame-ass prima donna of a girl won't give him the time of day. Over and over. It's obnoxious. So you know what I did? In fact, I'm the only poet in history to do this. I wrote a sonnet sequence as a man to a man. That'll show what hackneyed horrors they are. In truth, it actually came about by accident, because I had vociferously refused to get into the culture of whining wits, the rage of London at the time, until a very prominent countess asked me to write a few stanzas to convince her stupendously wealthy talk of the town son to get married. Now, ironically, she was afraid that her beloved boy was not wed because he was beloved of boys. I was like, until she preferred an immense chunk of change and implored me with, Will, if anyone can get him to fuck a girl, it's you. Though flattered, being fully aware of the young man's true sexual proclivity, I doubted that a barrage of 14-liners was going to convince him to take a dull girl, rather than a dashing boy, into his boudoir. But the Countess presented me with such a large bag of booty, I couldn't refuse. Thus it is, when you read my 14-line wonders, you find the first 17 urge this boisterous bachelor to marry and become immortal by having a child. But were some child of yours alive that time, you should live twice, in it and in my rhyme. Genius, right? Guess what? Didn't work. This party-loving Lothario couldn't have cared less. He had no intention of bearing a brat to cramp his style. And so I pointlessly penned sonnet after sonnet, urging this wayward youth to make his mommy proud by birthing an infant. When, bam, out of nowhere, I find myself drawn into this enigma. A woman's face with nature's own hand painted? Hast thou the master, mistress of my passion? What the hell? And though I know a bunch of you want to assert that I'm as gay as a daisy, I am not. I mean, I can appreciate a good-looking, handsome hunk of manhood as well as the best of you. But like I said in number 20, since she pricked thee out for women's pleasure, mine be thy love, and thy love's use their treasure. And yet, the more I hung around this Adonis, the more I found myself deeply attracted to him. When I got monstrously morose over a miserable day, strutting and fretting the boards, I'd find myself thinking of him. Thy sweet love remembered, such wealth brings, that then I scorned to change myself with kings. I had become the very thing I was trying to obliterate. A whimpering whiner, lamely lamenting that the object of my affection will not give me the time of day. Sonnet after sonnet came tripping off my tongue, hailing the bountiful beauty and the tremendous talents of this exquisite man. Until, why did I not see it coming, he got bored of my sugar and blotted me out for another quill. Not just any old quill, but that of the greatest inker in the whole world, Kit Marlowe. Out there, I freaked. I totally lost my mind. Writer's block froze my faculties. Was it the proud full sail of his great verse, bound for the prize of all too precious you, that did my right thoughts in my brain in hearse? Ah! I was malignantly miserable. And then she strolled in. Devastatingly gorgeous, oozing sensuality from every pore of her sable magnificence. Up to that point, beauty had been the provenance of the blonde. This bewitching, dazzling damsel of delicious darkness turned all vision of desire on its head. Not even at the zenith of my creative genius could I have conjured such a creature of consuming passion. I was Cupid shot the instant our eyes locked sight. My jealousy at the man's adoration of Marlowe's witty words vanished in the blink of her eyelids. I had to be hers. Yeah, but you were married with 3 kids, Will. I didn't stand a chance. She was one of those rare visions of heaven that empty your mind of all moral resistance in the same instant they buckle you at the knees. This was divinity in the flesh. I never loved so hard. A love which after weeks of sensual gluttony turned into a love that had never been so hard. What happened? She crushed me as you squelch a cockroach under boot, more burning than all the poetic pepper Kit Marlowe sprinkled to irk my jealous ire. As Tybalt to Mercutio, she slipped her stiletto between the bones of my shattered bosom. How? She took the sensational youth of my sonneteering affection to her own bed. I never felt such punishing pain. I reeled, I screamed, I cursed aloud. I have sworn thee fair and thought thee bright, who art as black as hell and as dark as night. She gutted me inside out. The medium that I had set out to destroy in all its wimpy worthlessness by conjuring her firmly slapped me upside the head and slammed me into the wall of my own hypocrisy. I never want to write another fucking sonnet again. Who is she? The clue to her identity lies in 130. Sting's favorite sonnet, so I'm told. Yep, she's black-haired, pale-lipped, brown-breasted, high-voiced, a Jewess, who ironically goes on to become England's first professional poetess when she publishes her volume, Hail God, King of the Jews. Her name, Emilia Bassano. The daughter of the Queen's Master of Musicians, the Venetian Jew, Baptista Bassano, who died when Emilia was 7. She was subsequently adopted by the Countess of Kent, thus gaining her entry into the royal circle, because, Had he not died, Henry VIII intended to make Kent's mother his 7th wife. Elizabeth was very fond of Amelia. So, and how did she slip into the orbit of this lowly, lower-than-a-vagabond player? By becoming mistress to the Queen's cousin, some say her half-brother, the uber-powerful Lord Hunsdon. Hunsdon's my boss. Amelia would come to watch us rehearse. And as I mentioned, I was gobsmacked from the moment I set eyes on her, but I still didn't hold much hope of gaining her affection until I discovered she's a poet. And voila, I invited her to come up and see my etchings. The rest, as they say, my friends, is histoire. See? The Dark Lady's no figment of my fancy. She's the most solid flesh Hamlet ever felt. QED. Thank you.